Hello everyone, I am Kerli and I will be presenting for Area Seminar Group 1. Our topic is Counterculture of the 1960s and 1970s in music. The term counterculture was developed by social theorists and described deviant subcultures, such as delinquent gangs. Contraculture or counterculture was separated from regular subcultures as a response to a frustrating environment. As an example, the theorists brought out the youth culture. Counterculture as such rejected the cultural standards. For example, racial segregation, the Vietnam War, sexual mores, women's rights, and materialism. The spirit of the movement was shown through different means, like unconventional appearance, new waves of music, the usage of drugs, communitarian experiments, and sexual liberation. These hallmarks were followed by young, white, middle-class Americans, who were called hippies. Later, in the next decade, a similar movement, the Beat Generation, arose. And there were also Bohemians, who were refugees from Central Europe. While looking at the ideas of ideal lifestyle for the counterculture, you can see them on the slide, it is recognizable that there are quite a few indulgences there that the hippies, beatniks, and bohemians all shared. Like mysticism, the usage of drugs and heavy drinking, rejection of mainstream culture, new waves of art, and exploring spirituality. Some musicians who exemplified the era were the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, and Pink Floyd. In addition to bands and soloists, new forms of musical presentation for the masses were created, such as large outdoor rock festivals. One of the best live statements of that kind was the Woodstock Music Festival. The movement also had many sentiments and popular sayings recurring through the different types of art. Like you can see on the slide, do your own thing, turn on, tune in, drop out, whatever turns you on, 8 miles high, sex, drugs and rock and roll, and light my fire. The music of the 60s moved towards an electric, psychedelic version of rock, reflecting the offbeat, psychedelic characteristics of the counterculture itself. While the counterculture might have gotten the kickstart in America, British new wave musicians such as the Beatles became popular in the US as well. And the Beatles in turn were strongly influenced by American artist Bob Dylan. With this example, we can see that the counterculture was in a way very intercontinental. Music had been used to inspire societal changes long before anti-war and civil rights movements of the 1960s. And the music responded to earlier events and problems. For example, the song Strange Fruit, sung by Billie Holiday, was a response to a grotesque photo of a lynching dating back to the 1930s. Music as a medium of protest for social and political change is highly effective because it can spread quickly from person to person and imbue strong emotions into the words being sung, thus greatly affecting its listeners. This was something Miss Holiday accomplished with her song as well. A new style of music emerged in this decade with bands such as the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and a few others, that experimented with new sounds and inspired people to stand up for their beliefs and rebel against authority. specifically against the government, which was being treated with increasing suspicion and mistrust. Some of the trademarks of the new music were Bob Dylan's albums, The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, and The Times They Are A-Changin'. Dylan sang on them about the evils of war, racism, and poverty. These new musical genres were one of the most notable means of expression for the voices of the counterculture. While music had previously been characterized as black or white, young or old, the countercultural movement shattered those norms. This diversification of music was linked to the increasingly prominent diversity of Americans and their desire for true freedom of expression. Due to that, different African American and female artists became more prominent. These developments provided the women with the ability to forge their own distinctive place within the music business, and at the same time opened up a possibility to address problems related to gender. As the second wave feminist movement and the sexual revolution were both intrinsically the counterculture. Talented female artists like the Shangri-Las, Janis Joplin, and Aretha Franklin started to challenge the traditional views about femininity and women in music. The large music festivals played a tremendous role in shaping the counterculture movement. The infamous Woodstock and the Monterey International Pop Music Festival provided a summit for the young revolutionaries to express their desire towards changing the American way of life. Flower Power was a slogan used during the late 60s and early 70s as a symbol of passive resistance and nonviolence ideology. The slogan was used by hippies, the beatniks with a Technicolor heart living in the Haight-Ashbury district in San Francisco. They were the children of the road, believing in making love and not war. The hippies vocalized their strong opposition to the US involvement in the Vietnam War and addressed the civil rights problems. All this while embracing symbolism and wearing brightly colored clothing with embroidered flowers on them. The period was a new era in fashion, film, and literature. Allen Ginsberg, one of the founding members of the Beat Generation, coined the term flower power in 1965 in order to show people a way to turn war into peace. This is one of the reasons why the hippies, the flower children, wore so many flowers on themselves and shared them to both the public and the soldiers. October 21st, 1967 was a curious day. 100,000 hippies and other pacifists peacefully marched to the Pentagon with the belief they could levitate it. They met a wall of 2,500 soldiers who had previously surrounded the building. Violence erupted as radical protesters clashed with the US Marshal. This protest of peaceful pacifists lasted almost 3 days before order was restored. While the end of the 60s was quite turbulent, then by the mid-70s the hippie movement began to slow down. Woodstock Festival was first held from August 15th to August 18th in 1969. It was billed as an Aquarian exposition, 3 days of peace and music. The festival was so immensely popular that instead of 50,000, it attracted the audience of almost 500,000 people. Woodstock was a peaceful celebration and is widely regarded as one of the greatest moments in popular music history. Rolling Stone magazine listed it as one of the 50 moments that changed the history of rock and roll. It was also a defining moment for the young counterculture generation, as this festival in the youth's minds was a way to escape the troubles of the decade and spread the message of unity and peace. While the venues were not very well facilitated and the weather was bad, in general the event was harmonious and positive. Some people say that the lack of violence in that kind of environment came from using so much of the then popular psychedelic drugs. Coming to the lyrics of John Lennon. His song Working Class Hero was influenced by the left-wing political movement and thinkers of its time. Lennon realized that freedom from conformity was necessary at both a personal and a social level. The lyrics are also ironic. Lennon was disenchanted with the way that the working class was used by the upper classes to build their own wealth and then, quote, doped with religion and sex and TV in order to keep them as an underclass. Lennon's description, quote, fucking peasants, reflects his critical perception of the ruling class rather than those they dominated. Imagine is the best-selling single of Lennon's solo career. The song represents the dream of a poet to see the world problem-free. In this song, Lennon is asking us to imagine a place where things that divide people, like religion, possessions, etc., do not exist. To consider the possibility that the whole of humanity would live unattached to material possessions. These lyrics are his way of criticizing religion, as it is one of the main causes of wars and enmity among people. With this song, Lennon depicts his belief that once people let go of the desire to possess material things, there will be no class, no greed, and thus no problem. Give Peace a Chance quickly became the anthem of the anti-Vietnam War and counterculture movements. The 70s were an anxious time, and the song refers to controversial conversation topics that were hot during that time, like beliefs, movements, and different sexual activities. Overall, the message is that there is no need for that sort of gossip and tension, and that maybe the best way to end this critical time would be not to fight, to give peace a chance and try to be in harmony with one another. Woman is the nigger of the world. This provocative line was first spoken by a female character in African American author Zora Neale Hurston's 1937 novel, Their Eyes Were Watching God. Lennon sharply and brutally honestly states with these lyrics that women are enslaved, humiliated, and tied down to old-fashioned views of them being the house hens. They are even humiliated on TV. The women are treated as stupid, but are not cheered upon when they are trying to get a higher education, because this kind of ambition would make them manlike. This song is still not well received nowadays, since it takes a stab at African American people. It is a very pro-feminist song that brings out all the mistakes of society towards women and despises misogyny. Lennon described his use of the term nigger as referring to any oppressed person. I think that in these song lyrics, everyone finds something that somehow still relates to nowadays world and/or resonates in their mind. Here you can see our references. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you, and stay healthy.